Hi everyone! Welcome to Artsonia's After School Art Club. Today, we have a fun art project from Mrs. Woodward, an art teacher from Florida. Hope you enjoy the video, and don't forget to have your artwork uploaded to your Artsonia gallery.
Hi, my name is Mrs. Woodward and I teach art in Pinellas Park, Florida, and we're here today to create a work of art inspired by cows. We are going to create a printmaking project where we use a cow as our main subject. We are going to do printmaking with two different concepts. We're going to do a rotation stamp and some reduction carving onto our foam stamp. So let's see what kind of materials we're going to need to get started, because this project is utterly amazing. For today's lesson, we will need the following materials: a 12 by 12 inch piece of paper, any color, 6 by 6 inch piece of white paper, a 6 by 6 inch piece of foam, a pencil, a Sharpie, an eraser, printing ink or temper paints, and a brayer, a baren, and a tray. Once you have gathered all of your materials, you're going to start with your white piece of paper. You are going to draw the cow diagonally onto the paper. I like to start with the nose of the cow, and I'm going to make his tongue sticking out. I am drawing just the basic shapes of the cow first. So let's make his shoulder, and I can give him some spots, and I can add other details to the cow as well. He is going to be kind of sticking out of the corner of the paper, so draw him diagonally and make sure you leave enough space for the head and the ears. I am now going to draw the curve for the nose, and I'm going to add the eyes in the side of the head. It should kind of curve up past where the top of the nose is, and I'm going to curve it down. And that looks good. This is one eyeball. If both sides are a little different, that is okay. You do not have to make both sides exactly the same. Maybe your cow could be winking, so one eye would be open and one eye would be closed. You can have fun and create some different expressions by drawing different styles of eyes on your cow. It's up to you how you create yours. Again, try to use just basic shapes for the different parts of the cow. At this point, we will go back and add the patterns inside of some of the shapes later. I'm going to give my cow a little bit of hair. You can give your cow maybe something silly like a hair bow. Maybe he could be wearing a hat. Maybe he has headphones on and he's listening to music. So you can be creative with this and make it your own design and your own style of art. So I'm going to add the inner part of the ear. I'm going to do the same on the other side using the space that I have left. You might need to kind of curve it to get it to fit into the space. Both sides do not have to be the same, so be creative with the space that you have and design it so it fits on the paper. Try to not let the design go off the edge of the paper. I am now ready to move on to the next step. I am going to take my picture and I'm going to attach it to a piece of foam. I'm going to use a little bit of masking tape to hold it in place. This is optional. You do not have to tape it in place, but it is highly recommended that you tape it to the foam so that way it does not move around on you while you are tracing. I am going to take my pencil, pressing firmly, I am going to retrace the lines onto the foam. So it transfers onto the foam. We're going to do the transfer process first of pressing firmly with our pencil and getting those lines indented into the foam. I'm going to remove my piece of white paper and set it to the side. Now I'm going to use my pencil again to press firmly and carve the lines of the cow deeper into the foam. You want to make sure the lines are carved deep enough so that way the paint does not stick to the lines. Once you have carved all your lines deep enough, check to make sure everything is done. And you want to make sure you know where your corner is. And put a little arrow on the back of the top corner opposite from where the cow is. This way you'll know how to do the rotation when we get to the rotation part of the printing process. I am now going to take my paper, and on a piece of scrap paper I have my brayer, my baren, my little tray of ink, and I'm going to roll the ink onto the foam stamp. Again, if you don't have ink, you can use temper paint, works as well, and if you don't have a roller, you could also apply it with a paintbrush. I'm going to place my stamp on my paper so the arrow is facing the middle of the paper, and then I'm going to use the baren to press firmly around the edges and around the middle to get a nice, even, smooth print. Again, if you don't have a baren, you can just use your fingers, but this just keeps you from getting too messy. Every single time you stamp it, you need to re-ink it, apply more ink to the stamp, and you also need to rotate the stamp. So make sure the arrow is always facing the center and press the next one down. Every time you do it, it's going to turn out differently. Please only do it one time. If you stamp the picture twice in the same spot, it's going to look blurry. So you want to stamp it only one time. I am now going to clean up my stuff and move on to the next step. I'm going to wait till my foam is dry, and I'm going to go back and carve more lines onto the foam in some of the negative spaces around the back side, around the outside, and the background of my picture. I can also add some patterns on the cow, like in his ears and his spots. It's up to you where you want to put your extra patterns. This is a process called reduction. It allows us to add more layers of color to our picture. So when we stamp it again and we put the new color right on top of the old color, you'll be able to see the old color where I am carving the lines. So go ahead and roll the ink again and stamp it. Remember, wherever I put lines, you should still be able to see the first color. Press and hold, rub over top of the whole stamp. Don't miss those corners, don't miss those edges. Get everywhere in the middle as well. Get a nice even press and then peel up your foam. And you can see how the orange is there now with the green in the background and the blue on top. I'm going to repeat these steps for all 4 spaces. Make sure you reapply the ink and make sure the arrow is facing the center. Pressing all the way around, and now my picture is done. I'm going to wait for my picture to dry before I move on to the next step. Once my picture is dry, I'm going to use a Sharpie marker and just kind of trace over some of the lines. You may choose to trace over some, and other ones you may choose to not trace over. I'm going to try and definitely trace over those main, really important contour lines that kind of show the shape of the cow. Doing this just helps to make the cow pop out in the image, so that way it doesn't look too blurry. It's also a great trick if maybe one of your prints didn't turn out the best, if it came out a little fuzzy, maybe it moved around on you, then you can use the Sharpie to redefine those lines so that way they are nice and crisp once again. Now that I am done, I'm going to clean up my materials, I'm going to put everything away and share my artwork with all my friends on Artsonia.